Jack.
Hey guys, welcome to the second bonus segment for December. Our first one was with Irfan, the Kurdish analyst, talking about Iran and Soleimani and Khomeini, the Ayatollah, and all sorts of colorful characters. And this is the second one. So I think like going forward, my idea is to kind of do one bonus episode a month that's like an interview with somebody, some expert, and then the second one is just kind of us bullshitting. And so for January, I have where'd her book go? Chris Weatherholt I'm going to have on, and she wrote a book about ELN in Colombia, so we'll be able to discuss that with her. But anyway, this is just the kind of like bullshit session. Willing to hear any viewers out there have any questions?
Same one.
Okay. Questions or comments you want to hit us with? I thought the first thing I would jump into is this contract killing scandal that broke. These guys got indicted, a whole crew. They got hired by this guy, Eric Charles Mond of Austin, Texas. He was having an affair with this woman. Her name was Holly Williams. And her boyfriend, William Lanway, contacted Mond and tried to extort money from him. Said, I'll expose your affair to your wife if you don't give us money, etc., etc. So instead of giving him money, what this dude Mond does, which he owns a car lot in Texas. He owns a car dealership. He goes to this company, a company called SpearTip, which is supposed to specialize in dealing with extortion attempts like this. But the way they dealt with it wasn't the way you might expect. They hired some former CIA contractors, guys who served in the Marine Corps, to go and murder these two people outside Nashville, which they did, according to the indictment.
Wow.
So the guy who owns this company, Peled, claimed service in the IDF. I don't know if he actually did, but him and one of the former Marines who was working for him, Brian Brockway, one of my sources told me both of these guys were GRS. And then there was a third former Marine involved called Adam Carey. And according to the feds, these guys did surveillance on this couple in Nashville, Tennessee, and then confronted them in the boyfriend's apartment parking lot, killed him, shot and killed him, kidnapped the girl, drove his body and the girl out to a construction site, murdered her, and just dumped the bodies out there. And then they fucking drove back to Texas or wherever the hell they came from. They left. And this guy, Mond, left SpearTip a positive Google review saying, thanks so much for your services. You guys are on time. Great job, guys.
5 stars.
Holy crap.
So if the feds moved in, they arrested Brockway. As I'm told, they arrested Brockway, arrested him at the San Diego Marine Corps Depot. He was there to see his son graduate from boot camp. And the feds swept him up at the gate. So Mond paid them about $900,000 for this job. And now all of them, all 4 of them have been arrested by the feds, and they're facing life in prison.
Wait, he paid them $9,000?
$900,000.
Oh, $900,000. I was going to say, well, assassination is cheap these days. It's $9,000.
I think it go up with inflation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's, I have no doubt there is much more to this story, but that's a pretty wild one.
That is crazy. I mean, and that, I don't know. I don't know. In most circumstances, I don't know how you think you can, A, either pay for an assassination, and B, actually do something like that, especially as it's so out in the open. It's not even it didn't even sound like a dark web transaction, right? It just,
it doesn't appear so, no. Not
how you think you're going to get away with it?
I mean, listen, at least Bitcoin or cash, Like, I would probably want to pay in diamonds, actually.
And
That's probably how I would do that.
And honestly, if I had an assassination, if I had a company that did assassinations, I probably wouldn't have a Yelp page. Just put it out there, guys. If you're gonna do like
You're gonna do
illegal
dirt.
businesses,
You're
maybe
gonna do
don't
dirt.
have a Yelp page. Wow, that's ridiculous.
I mean, you can't even fucking script it. It's the dumbest thing I ever. Like, I thought, I don't know, man. You got to know how to do crime. You got to think about what you're going to do and, like, the consequences of leaving 2 bodies on the side of the road.
Yeah. And that's
Shut
the thing
up.
is a lot of these guys were like former special ops or former, contractors in this case. They're good at killing people. They know how to kill people, but they don't understand, like, the nature of crime.
Yeah,
Like, they just don't really get it. And you can see it in the words they use. Like when they say we put together an intel packet. Like they think they're still in the military. And you see this with like guys who try to go. They get out of the military and they try to do dirt, and they use these terms like counter surveillance and intelligence and
But
ORPs.
is that not to, like, kind of upsell it? Like, look at our terminology, and it's like how corporations say, synergy. and shit.
Yeah. Absolutely, that's part of it to make it seem way more professional than it is. But I think there's also a fair amount of guys drinking their own Kool-Aid. I got more tea to spill. Some recent stuff that I worked on. Okay, so Special Forces Sergeant Major Travis Alford. This story broke in the Army Times a while back that they arrested him for spousal abuse, like domestic violence and stuff like that. Discharged a firearm during the course of one of these altercations. So he was facing court-martial. I believe it was actually the day he was arraigned for that court-martial. He caught a second assault charge for assaulting a local woman who is known, and I've seen it. I mean, she's known to be involved in drug trafficking in North Carolina. And he allegedly assaulted her, so now he has a second set of charges pending against him. So, yeah, it doesn't look so good for Alford. He said his court-martial is going to be in 2022, and then the civilian, I guess he'll be facing charges in the civilian court for the second set of charges.
Now, does he have, I mean, is there like a history of like post-traumatic stress or anything with him? Is that
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
There's a history of, the spouse apparently in court documents has alleged that there's a history of domestic violence.
Yeah.
Another story that came across my desk, a network specialist who worked at CENTCOM, or I'm sorry, SOCCENT. So he's a special operations network analyst, this guy David Rankine. This dude caught 43 charges he's being court-martialed for, ranging from sexual assault to drug-related offenses to regular assault, disobeying orders, obstruction, communicating threats, adultery. It goes on and on. So he's going to court-martial also. So,
Wait, how did he catch all these charges at once?
well, I think there were multiple incidents that he's being charged with.
That's interesting. Like, it's interesting. I wonder. I mean, did somebody come forward about something, and then lots of people came forward? Like, that's a lot of charges for.
I
be stacked.
believe this is another case of spousal abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the lighter side of thing, Owen Cash
Receiving a Medal of
received
Honor.
his Medal of Honor finally. Yeah, that's really good news. Like, there's been a big effort. A lot of those guys that I don't even know how they. I mean, a lot of the guys who were like doing all that.
Yeah, it was also Earl Plumley received the Medal of Honor
Yeah.
of Special Forces, and the Ranger. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry that his name is escaping me at the moment. Let me see if I can look it up here real quick. Christopher Solis. So yeah, a Ranger and a Green Beret. Also, the Ranger awarded posthumously as well. Earl Plumley still with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, it's good to see these guys finally get their due.
Why weren't they getting their due before? Like, what took so long?
Medals of Honor normally take quite a while to go through the process. Like, why? I don't know. Maybe I should just keep my mouth shut on some of these things.
Well, I believe with Alwyn Cash that originally, like the person who initially put him in for an award, part of the problem with that was that nobody was conscious to actually witness what happened, right? All these guys were in burning vehicles, and he basically exposed himself to the fire over and over again to pull them out.
Yeah, I read the thing. It's fucking nuts.
And I can't remember if he was originally put in for a Medal of Honor and it was downgraded, or if it was just like at the time, because he was put in for an award, I think, while most of those guys were still recovering, so they didn't know
The full scope of
they
it.
didn't know the extent of his actions when they put him in for the award.
Because like he went in several times, like his clothes burning off
Yeah,
his body.
yeah.
Like, I think he was literally on fire.
Yeah. And I mean, there was that group of veterans on Twitter, like that used to started the whole Gold Corps prank, but they were like part of the big effort pushing him, like as far back as like 2 or 3 years ago, really like trying to get his name out there, because I think that one of the ways his name originally got out there was, and I can't remember who it was a professional football player, and the team was it the St. Louis? I can't remember which football team it was.
St. Louis moved.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but on one particular night, this team, they were all going to wear the name of a young black male who I think was killed by cops or whatever, but also maybe was not the most savory of human beings, and this football player felt like, yeah, I want to honor a young black man, but one who I feel is like worthy of honor, and he wore Alwyn Cash's name because they all wore the name
I remember something about
on the
that.
back of their jersey, and he thought the guy was a criminal, like whatever, and he wore Alwyn Cash's name, and he got like a lot of hate over that. But that was one of the ways that his name sort of came to prominence.
It's something that gained traction over like the course of a decade, and I think it really had a lot of his story had a lot of resonance with the rank and file, enlisted soldier, and so it's kind of a slow, steady momentum over at least a decade, I think.
Yeah. No, but it really shows how, as detrimental as social media can be and is in a lot of cases, there are some cases where that sort of social media push can really bring attention to something important and help move the ball down the field with it.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not really sure how the whole process works because actually there's somebody I could talk to about that. There's a whole process that like the standard of evidence has to be like incredibly high for a Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Like and so there is a whole like complex process that goes into it.
Right. Well, and it's also, doing those administrative things like after the fact, I think it's a headache for a lot of the people involved. So sometimes if there isn't the awareness and the pressure on them to do it, a lot of times they're not going to do it.
I was kind of just going to say, like, there's got to be some kind of overarching, like, political thing happening for Medal of Honors to be, like, actually pushed through and, like, lobbied for, I guess, if that's a bad word to say. I mean, because I can see it, like, where there's no one really pushing it, it won't really...
Yeah, unless your command is pushing it to ensure that you get it so that an Air Force guy who also deserves it...
Are you talking about a specific
yeah,
incident?
I am. But
Isaac is asking, why are the charges against Reality Winner so extreme and some just seem fake? All she did was reveal that Russia did hack the U.S. during the 26 election. It all seems so overblown, a double standard to compare to people who did serious espionage, like the guy who sold secrets to China or that general who told secrets to his ghostwriter mistress. Reality Winner was an airwoman who worked with the NSA. I mean, I kind of disagree. I mean, what she revealed wasn't that Russia hacked the 2016 election. The Russians did not hack the election. Is actually, it's not my opinion. Like, that's a statement from the DNI. Reality Winner got charged with divulging top secret information. Like, it's pretty clean cut in that sense. Like, she printed out a top secret document, smuggled it out of the building in her pantyhose, and mailed it to The Intercept, which is against federal law.
I mean, what she should have done is taken the header off of it that says top
Just
secret.
clipped it off with the
and then it would
scissors.
have been declassified. That's the new standard, apparently.
She was on 60 Minutes.
Was she?
Yeah. Yeah, she had her
Yeah.
whole piece done.
Well, I mean, she did her time, and she's out now. I mean, agree or disagree, but she paid the price.
She'll have an OnlyFans soon, I'm sure.
I should have an OnlyFans. We should have a Team House OnlyFans where we do like calendar shoot stuff, pin up stuff. Yeah. Like,
Ain't nobody want to see that.
you never know, Dave. You never know. There's a market for everything. Tasteful nudes. Hear me out.
No, yeah,
Tasteful nudes.
Nothing spread eagle, nothing like that.
There is no nude of me that is tasteful. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could get a glamour shop person here to airbrush everything.
Bro, we'll have like a makeup artist come in and stuff. We'll fucking doll you guys up.
Use the ball tonic.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Get the ball tonic going.
Very nice.
So, what else is going on, man? Those are my feel-good stories right now. I'm working on a couple other stories that I wish I could get into, but it's kind of too early. They're both kind of like standing by to stand by.
Human interest piece, like feel goods, I'm sure.
One of them is pretty funny, and it's funny because like no one really got hurt. Some people did some jail time, which I'm sure was not funny in a third world country. It's about veterans and criminals.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah, it is a wild story. I hope to get that out this coming week. A little Christmas present for you guys. And then the second story is a special ops story that's just like really sad. But I hope I can have that out relatively soon.
We're working on a history of mercenaries.
Yes, I've been reading. I finished the book about the Swiss mercenaries, and I moved on to the book about ancient like mercenaries in prehistory. Really interesting stuff about mercenaries in like ancient Sumeria, and there was like a whole class of people who were like the mercenary class. And some historians thought it was like an ethnic group, but really they were like displaced people, like exiles and refugees that made up like a social and political class in ancient Sumeria.
They were essentially Mandalorians.
Called like this, they were called like the Saragur or Sarakar or something like that. And they were something of a servant class, but they were like traditional mercenaries. They were like hired labor, hired guns. That would be hired for to go do mercenary shit. Because especially there are some parallels economically from even ancient history to today. How it's very expensive to maintain standing armies. And back in agrarian societies and ancient societies and even through the Middle Ages, like you needed people working the fields. You couldn't have a fucking standing army.
Right,
Just like training.
right.
So mercenaries like plugged that gap. It was like a way to have a surplus of personnel. Like, oh, we'll just hire all these people from Switzerland or Germany or wherever. We'll hire a bunch of Hessians and a bunch of Swiss. They called them Switzers back in the day. And that'll be, that'll bolster our numbers. And I mean, it was true in ancient Sumeria. It was true in the Middle Ages. And it's true today that it's easier to use contractors than it is to just maintain a standing force.
Yeah. It's very expensive to maintain a standing army. I mean, it's exceptionally expensive.
And people, if you're not at war and you're not using them, people are going to ask questions like, do we really need this unit? Do we really need that unit? And so you see like air defense units get disbanded, LRP units get disbanded. We downsize the infantry, downsize this force, and then the political climate changes or the geopolitical situation internationally changes.
Right.
Oh fuck, we need these guys, and now we're like recreating these capabilities.
Right.
All
Right.
over
I mean,
again.
we see that we see that throughout the history of the United States.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm working
That's
on
gonna
that.
be fun.
I'm working on that, D.
Do you think should we put it on Team House? Because like you're putting so much fucking effort into it.
I mean, it's up to you, man. We can do
I don't
it
care.
wherever.
I'm not in this for the bitches. I'm in it for like good shit. I don't care where it's on.
We can do either, man. We were talking about doing one episode that was like historical, like
Yeah.
pre-World War II, and then a second that's contemporary, like post-World War II.
Yeah,
because
contemporary.
it's such a big subject.
Oh man, yeah, it's huge. And the special ops one we did was over 3 hours, and I took out like 20 minutes of me talking about like not having to do with anything special.
About girls?
Yeah, yeah.
Are we doing better on that front, D?
With the
'Cause,
women,
yeah, you were obsessed with this like one girl at the time.
I still love her, but yeah, I'm doing fine. I mean, it's what it is.
That wasn't very like.
What do you want me to tell you?
That wasn't
bro? You know what I'm
convincing.
saying? Like, I mean,
That
it's
wasn't
all like
convincing.
empty sex basically, and I'm doing it just to do it.
All right, I'm not gonna knock like empty, loveless sex.
It's empty and loveless, bro.
yeah.
Only that's when it's with me, I love it, but it's full of love. But when it's with others, no, I love. She's. I'm not getting into it on the Team House Patreon. They got to sign up to my fucking Patreon. I want to know about it. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. We're friends. It's great. Awesome. But yeah, no, I have no one special that I want to like take home to mom.
This is like sad, D. Like I feel like you're saying one thing, but the reality you got that look in your eyes. Like I'm 5 minutes away from being a school shooter. I've been hanging out on these incel forums on the dark web.
Getting some fucking
Yeah,
just commiserating with each other.
yeah.
No, I'm not an incel yet. I guess I'm I mean, no, because I had sex like last week with a real live woman. She wasn't even unconscious or anything.
That doesn't qualify as incel status. man.
Yeah, that was actual
Yeah.
intercourse. Mm-hmm. So, but it's just I don't want to deal with. I don't want to talk to them. This other girl I'd like to talk to after.
Yeah, I get it.
After the 90 seconds of passion.
That's where that's where I was for like 2 years. Like didn't want to talk to anyone, look at anyone. Like, just leave me the fuck alone. Oh my god.
But now you're like Sex in the City for the male version.
It's
It's just Patreon, so we're good. They have to
my
pay.
second wind. It's been a bit of a renaissance. Yes.
Well, you discovered on dating apps.
Well, dude, I'll tell you. You want to know who's to blame for all that? Is
Friend of the show.
Yeah, he's been on the show. Michael Ames was like, Jack, you got to get on Hinge. And I'm like, no, stop, Michael. Leave me the fuck alone. Stop hassling me. And then I got on there, and since then it's just been like
He's a fucking cocksman, ladies and gentlemen.
it's been out of control.
I mean, dude, it makes it very just like you're at a supermarket. You're on Amazon. It's
The
kind of
buffet.
like- yeah,
The
it's-
buffet.
And listen, like I said, put your fucking height and you're golden, bro. I'm not even kidding.
I hear people like bitching and moaning about like the dating scene in New York City, and honestly, I don't have any horror stories or anything like that. I have met some really cool girls.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't going anywhere, I mean, they're still like decent people,
Right.
You know, a lot of people were like just cool to talk to. People I would not normally meet, like professions I would not normally
Sure.
come in contact with. So I mean, it's been cool, and like I've been seeing this girl now who would be cool if like she was my actual girlfriend, and she's like, no, we need to take this like very slowly. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, but at
So-
the same time, she's inviting you to fucking. I mean, we don't have to get too personal here, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna you know.
Does she pay for the Patreon?
I don't know, which is scary. I really like her. But we'll see where it goes. Presumably she'll let me know. Because sometimes women, they mentally change the status in their mind.
Sure.
And they don't tell you.
Yeah, they don't CC anybody.
Like, you think you're still in the dating, like you're in the fun zone, and they have mentally moved you over to like, this shit is serious now, but they don't tell you that. So then they get pissed off that, like, you know, you did this or you said this or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, whoa, I didn't know that we transitioned over to this other thing.
A good litmus test for that is sleep with her best friend and
Her sister?
yeah, her sister, and then you'll know if she's like, yeah, whatever, or she's like, I hate you.
I thought we were just casual.
Yeah,
I thought it wasn't a big deal.
It was like I told Dee one day, you know, every girl like wants to play it off like she's super cool, like, oh, I'm not the jealous type of girl, I don't get jealous. But then it very quickly goes from that to, I saw you flirting with the girl at the drive-through window at McDonald's, motherfucker. I saw you doing it. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. And you're like, whoa, how did we go from where we were?
I'm not jealous.
To
Yeah.
this? How did this happen?
Yeah.
And when did this happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of like making a plan for hitting a target. Is that things are really cool in a vacuum, right? But then when the metal, you know, when the metal hits the road, when the rubber hits the road, like, it's a totally different situation.
Yeah, that is a good way of saying it.
So, Isaac, what happens during a nuclear proliferation operation from beginning, middle, and end, and everything in between?
That's a question for Jim.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think he told as much of it as he could.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, last
like,
night.
yeah. And then Andrew made a Sex in the City reference based on yours, but he said Dave is totally the Samantha. I don't know what Samantha did.
Samantha is like the big whore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's like the dirty one.
You know,
She's so hot. Kim Cattrall.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Big Trouble in Little China. I love
her
Kim Cattrall.
so much.
I've only watched I saw like maybe one episode of Sex in the City in my life, and
I'm a big fan.
It was actually kind of depressing because I watched that and I realized like I'm never really going to understand women at all.
I saw the movie, the first movie that came out. Yeah, it's weird, but Samantha, Kim Cattrall is a piece. She's very attractive. That's all I have from that.
Indeed,
Yeah, that's the best I can give you.
indeed,
But that means you're the whore, though, Dave.
the man whore.
Yeah.
Did she? Yeah. I mean, but no.
She is the hottest, though.
I'm not.
No, Dave's in a loving relationship.
I am now. Yeah.
Yeah. Dave's locked down now.
I'm on lockdown.
Brett says, when I date, I put them through a crucible to test them under stress. Long bike rides, accidentally getting lost on a road trip just to see how they react under stress.
I'm assuming he's single still.
No, he said my wife is a resilient person.
Fucking A, good for
no,
you,
but that
brother.
is true. Like, if you want to know a lot about, I was going to say a woman, but it's probably true about a person, but especially a woman. Take her like on a 2-day camping trip with like glamping, but actual camp, like where she's in a situation where like things aren't great, and
You guys want to put her through fucking SEER school. Like,
yeah. See if she like can hold her circles and maintain her. Yeah, but you want, because
Keep her sense of humor.
everybody acts like one way, I think, when they're first getting to know somebody, until you get to the point where you no longer close the door when you go to the bathroom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a threshold, but you want to know what that person's going to be like once you no longer close the door when you're going to the bathroom. And you want to know that before you've invested like a year into the relationship.
Yeah, and they start letting the crazy out, like little by little. Until it's all crazy and no normal.
But the problem is that when people let crazy out little by little, if you're not sort of doing regular checks, you don't realize that it's crazy little by little
Sure.
until it's full blown crazy and you think you're fucked
It's
up.
like, how did I get here?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
and you take their crazy for normal, right? Like that. Then you get in a relationship that's not crazy. You're like, oh, right, that was crazy. That was crazy.
You fucking compare notes like, yo, what the fuck was
It's
that?
like any of the fellas watching this must be aware of the hot versus crazy matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The YouTube video where the guy talks about, he's like, the problem is any woman can disappear from anywhere on this chart and reappear anywhere else.
Right.
So you have to gather data points over a longer time horizon so you get like a cluster of reliable data.
Yeah.
Of where this person is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I have been through so many, relationships that didn't go anywhere that I finally knew what I was looking for.
Sure.
And fortunately found it. So.
That's a way of gathering data over time, and hopefully we all become smarter over time through experience. I've been married twice.
Yeah.
Hopefully I learned something from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a hard learner, but
yeah, exactly.
But
smart rangers and strong rangers. Joe said, "Hey guys, big fan of the podcast. Only just joined the stream, so it might not be on topic. But I have a question: what do Jack and Dave think makes a good officer in SOF from an enlisted perspective?"
Man, there's like a lot that goes into that, and a lot of different perspectives. And I was never an officer, so I can't really. I mean, from an enlisted perspective, I think you need a dude who is has strong leadership, but is not overbearing. Somebody who knows when to shut up and take some advice and listen and learn. I think with for a SOF officer specifically, they're very fortunate in the sense that they're leading highly motivated soldiers.
Right, yeah.
So they don't have to be in their ass the way that you might have to be in other
They don't
units.
have to babysit and micromanage generally, yeah.
But here's the flip side to it is a SOF officer has to have the ability to be grabbing them by the back of the collar, whoa, wait a second here, guys.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. Let's wait until we get air support over that target before we go in there, guys. So you have to, I think a SOF officer has to have the ability to hold the guys back a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that you're acting in a deliberate way, that all of the pieces are put into place, that you've set yourself up for success. Because a bunch of Rangers or Green Berets will storm right in because they're highly motivated soldiers.
Right.
So the officer kind of has to have that bigger picture in mind, sort of, and how all the different aspects of the operation come together. And and again, a SOF officer, I think, is very much the liaison between the boys and higher and doing the coordination.
That's it 100%. And I mean, honestly, this is kind of true of any officer and any leader in business in general. But I think one of the things about, like you say, highly motivated, that a SOF officer has to realize that they don't have to get credit for stuff. They don't have to drive their guys so hard or whatever. Their guys are going to drive themselves. And if they just facilitate that and make sure that happens, their job is in a lot of ways to remove the obstacles to guys accomplishing their job. That officer is going to get recognized. When their guys perform, that's going to elevate them, right?
Absolutely.
And I think here's the thing about a SOF officer is often they can't be super alpha because their guys underneath them are going to be super alpha a lot of times. But they also have to have the backbone to stand up to their guys and they have to have the backbone to stand up to hire. When hire's like, hey, what are your guys doing? It's like, hey, it's within commander's intent, whatever. But they have to, it's probably a tough job, to be honest with you.
I had a really interesting conversation once with a retired officer he was a Delta Force officer and also ran their selection program at one point. And he told me something about how they select officers in the unit and how the personalities are very important. And he was speaking specifically to the unit. I'm sure it's true on an ODA or a Ranger platoon as well to varying extents. But he said it's really careful. You have to find a balance between the officer who is not too extroverted, but not too introverted either. Because if you have an officer who's really chill and really laid back, it makes the boys feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because they're all super amped up,
right?
And there's a personality clash at that point. But you can't have an officer who's super alpha dog, for the reasons I explained before, that, you know, he's there to like kind of be the manager and make sure all the puzzle pieces go where they belong, not fucking being the first guy through the door. It's not really his job.
Right. And I mean, the other thing, and this is true of, I mean, honestly, what makes an officer in probably any branch or any combat arms branch, at least, you know, I don't think it's just specifically for SOF, but you have to like trust. You have to trust that your leaders, your small unit leaders, are competent. So if you tell, like, you're not necessarily going to tell them where to set up security. You're going to tell them to put security and trust that the guys that are running those security are going to know where to do it. It's just like, you know, if you have like supporting or aren't, you know, supporting fire or whatever, you're not going to do the gun placements. You're going to trust your gun team leaders to find the right placement.
And I've had conversations with guys talking about their time as a lieutenant and even captains, and the way they describe their job at that, for some of these people at least, told me like every day I was just scared to death that one of my guys was going to do something dumb. And so that their whole thing is like just walking around scared that their career is going to get crushed because one of their guys goes and fucking drinks a bottle of George Dickel and gets behind the front end loader and drives it into a fucking C-130.
Right.
There's a big fireball in the airfield.
Right.
Or fucking he's keeping a possum as a pet in the barracks and it bites some other kid and then there's a rabies outbreak in the barracks.
Right. Or that they go out like drinking with like underage girls and start like throwing ammo into a
Throwing
campfire.
beer bottles at the MPs.
Yeah. None of these stories are true. It's just that they're things that may have happened.
We had there's a guy in Ranger Battalion, as I recall. It wasn't in my company, but this guy got drunk off his ass and went up on top, I guess, on top of like a mall or a shopping mall in Atlanta, and like vandalized all. I guess like there's HVAC and plumbing and stuff up there, and just did like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage, resulted in like flooding in the stores below and shit like that, and it like made the papers.
Yeah. It's probably a very stressful job, but in some ways, like you have obviously you have a generally a higher caliber in the sense of more motivated and if selections work, more responsible employee or soldier, but also some of the operations are higher risk and whatnot. Have you guys been watching Hawkeye? Do you think they'll bring back Daredevil? I have been watching Hawkeye. I didn't see the latest episode. I'm enjoying it, and I think they're trying to bring back Daredevil.
I heard, I guess it's like, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but supposedly Daredevil, I was having a conversation with a dude in the comic shop this week, and he was saying Daredevil, the actor, what's his name? Cox, I think his last name is?
I don't remember his name.
In playing Daredevil, he's supposed to be in the new Spider-Man movie, allegedly. So I guess they are bringing him back.
I hope so. Like that was the only good Marvel franchise that Netflix did.
I have been watching Hawkeye. I've been enjoying it. Me and Alice have been watching it.
Yeah,
me and my daughter.
I didn't see the last episode, or I'm not sure, but yeah, I've been enjoying it quite a bit.
Yeah,
and I haven't really. I mean, I liked WandaVision. Loki, I was really like, whatever. It's like, it's kind of weird. And then I wasn't that crazy about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I liked Falcon.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't watch WandaVision.
WandaVision I thought was really good.
I thought, Loki I thought was good to a point, but yeah, then by the end of it,
weird.
By the end of it, you're kind of like,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah, and then are there any other Marvel series on Disney?
Not at the moment, I don't think. I heard. Are they doing What If?
Yeah, they're doing the What Ifs. I haven't been watching those though.
Oh, it's out.
The What Ifs are awesome.
It's a series.
No
yeah,
shit.
Yeah,
they're animated.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
yeah,
they're fucking awesome.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Well, the What If comics used to be great.
I
used to love.
I stumbled across it and I started watching one and I was like, "This is dope. This is awesome. It was really good."
Yeah.
All right,
really
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, the What If comics used to be great.
Charlie Cox, Andrew said, and he's in the new Spider-Man. Yeah.
Thanks for the answer. Not a military guy, but I write a lot of fiction, and I'm writing a character who's an officer in SOF units.
Man, I would recommend watching. I'm biased. I recommend watching the Team House live stream. Some of the soft officers on there. You know, Ray McPadden. Hey, so if you're watching this, you're on Patreon. I highly recommend watching the bonus segment we did with Ray McPadden, talking about his time being a Ranger PL.
It's like an hour long.
Yeah,
too.
it's like an hour long. It's a bonus content for the Patreon supporters. Go watch that, man, and I think that'll give you a lot of like inspiration for what you're writing.
Yeah. Also, please tell me the rabid possum is based on experience.
No, I don't think anyone had that. I'm trying to think of some of the like Ranger Barracks stories. Probably the best one is actually from 275, when the bank robbery.
Yeah.
And they had like the guns and the money in the barracks.
Yeah.
The MPs found. And I interviewed the author. There's a book about that whole bank robbery, the 275 bank robbery, called Ranger Games. It's like a 400-page book. It's like very in-depth and thorough. And I'd recommend it. It's a good book if you guys want to learn more about that.
They're going to make another show called Echoes, the Deaf Woman with the Prosthetic Leg. Actually, I don't know who Echoes is.
Me neither.
That's a lot of handy capable
Yeah.
in one hero.
Because, I mean, Hawkeye wears his hearing aids, and that was like a big thing for people. Oh, my God, it's the first hard of hearing superhero. Like, okay, guys.
Yeah, but somebody gave Jeremy Renner like shit at one of the cons because he's not actually hard of hearing. They're like, how can you feel like you can play this if you're not actually hard of hearing? It's like, give it up. Like, just stop.
You're an actor, and you are acting.
Exactly.
Like, relax.
Yeah. I hope they one day do like a spin-off where they show his time as Ronin, because
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
because that whole like segment, after the
barely touch on it.
It's like 4 minutes in Endgame.
Yeah.
And he just has like a cool haircut. Like,
Yeah.
you
The
know?
mohawk.
Yeah.
And he's just slaying Yakuza guys for fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. No. So that girl. Okay. Right. So are they, that's right. I forgot. So are they actually doing a spinoff for her? Okay.
Hey, Gordon, how's it going, man?
That's right. I remember. Yeah.
Maybe I wonder if maybe I haven't seen the latest episode. That's why it's not ringing a bell for me.
She's been in since like episode 2 or 3. She's the one who's after.
Oh,
Kate.
yes.
She's the one who's after Kate
Yeah,
because she wore the
yeah.
Ronin suit.
That's right. And they're doing the sign language.
Right,
Okay,
right.
I got you.
Yeah.
Is it gory? Is it like...
No,
it's not even like rated R, not even close?
No.
It's
like
Disney.
It's like PG, man.
Yeah.
I know, but it just scares me, man, because they've got all the Fox stuff, and we talked about it yesterday with like Logan and stuff. Like, I hope, and even Deadpool, like, I hope they don't PG-13 everything, right? And like they keep some stuff R. I know this is part of the Avengers and like the
Yeah,
greater-
no, I hope so too. I think like some of the Marvel properties, like the Punisher, can be rated R. Deadpool was very good as rated R. I hope that
Logan was good as rated R.
Yeah, I hope they calibrate it to what's appropriate for that character or that comic, because I understand like there's no reason why a Thor movie needs to be rated R.
Right.
So
right.
I hope that they're smart enough to like calibrate.
Yeah,
it
they're not
to the
gonna like the
properties.
proper Avengers. They're not
Yeah.
gonna keep. They're gonna keep them PG-13 because
Spider-Man,
it's just so expensive.
Spider-Man doesn't need to be rated R.
Yeah.
I don't need to see titties in
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
Yeah, but Logan, every other Wolverine movie besides like the first 2 X-Men movies are horrendous. They're horrendous. Even the one when he's in Japan half the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The second Logan one.
Mm-hmm.
People say it's like, oh, it's not that. It's bad.
It was
bad.
not. It was not great.
Yeah, it's
for
bad.
sure.
And X-Men Origins is horrific.
I liked Days of the Future Past. There was one with Phoenix, right? That I don't think I even saw.
Yeah,
I didn't
Dark
see
Phoenix
with Dark Phoenix. I didn't see it
with
either.
Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones.
I'm guessing not many
Horrific.
people saw it at all.
It was not good at all.
Yeah,
I saw it, yeah.
The thing I hated about X-Men is, and we talked about this with people who license properties, right? Whether it's their books or whatever, is why do you not follow an actual storyline. Like in the very first X-Men, like they mixed the old X-Men with the new X-Men, right? The original X-Men with the X-Men who came out in X-Men 94, the new X-Men. Like, why do you mix those? Why don't you, you're just like,
Well, you mentioned the same thing with World War Z,
right? World War Z, they
that-
totally changed that story. Yeah.
That, and you were saying you were watching the Wheel of Time series.
Yeah,
that they
the Wheel of Time,
they
like
butchered.
Like, how arrogant do you have to be as a TV writer to go, yeah, this is a best-selling book, but you know what? We can do it better. What are you talking about?
Actually, you can't.
Did Game of Thrones teach you nothing? You follow, like...
You triggered me, bro. Don't trigger me right now.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Game of Thrones. Fuck that show.
Gordon, man, Thanksgiving was good, and just want to point out the image, like the banner image I used for this video is the Thanksgiving turkey. I ordered a deep fryer, and that was the adventure this Thanksgiving. Is like my parents are reluctant to change the way we've always done things for Christmas dinner, so getting the deep fryer was a mild controversy in the family. Ooh. But in the end, they have seen the light, and now the deep fryer they want to be like a yearly thing.
A little bit of Murphy family drama.
Yeah.
You saw it here first.
A bit of friction on that, and there is some anxiety about how will the turkey come out? Is this really going to work? How's it going to go? Did you read the directions? Oh my gosh. We did the turkey in the deep fryer. It came out fucking awesome, and yeah, they're sold on it now.
It looks good. Like, it looks good. I would eat all that skin, like Cartman on South.
Oh, it was nice and moist. Despite your prohibition on turkey, you don't think it's a legitimate.
God, I got.
He doesn't think it's a
admonished
legitimate
for
meat.
ordering a turkey sandwich.
He doesn't think it's a legitimate meat.
With every other meat in the world out there, why would you order turkey? Like, if you were starving and the only thing left was turkey, okay, fine. Fine. But
What'd you say you'd eat before turkey? What
Kitten.
animal? Kitten.
Dave, you should try
a
my.
cute, cuddly kitten that I had raised by and fed by hand, that I had bottled fed, I would eat that before turkey.
You should try my turkey chili, Dave. Because I'm a crock pot guy because I'm a lazy dude, and so I make turkey chili in that thing. Came out pretty good.
But there's pork and beef chili. Why would you ever do turkey?
It's a lean meat.
Kind of with it, but it's not. Turkey chili's okay. I used to make veggie chili at my restaurant, and it was delicious. It was. I swear to God, I used a veggie burger because I'm amazing.
There's just some shit like veggie burger. Like, I remember I was in Whole Food one time and going through their food bar, and it looked good. I got this thing called chicken seitan, right?
Oh yeah,
And
it's false advertising.
And I sat
man.
down and I ate it, and
It's not.
no, it was like tofu. I'm like, why do you call it fucking chicken? When, like, stop pretending that, like, bacon, like like. Why even cut tofu in the shape of a bacon strip? You're not fooling anybody.
Yeah.
Just put out a glob of gelatinous tofu because that's what they're eating.
Well, that like Beyond Burger. I remember this is right before the pandemic, February 2019. At a Super Bowl party, they're grilling Beyond Burgers. So like everyone's like the griller is big in Beyond Burgers now. So we all have to act like it tastes like regular fucking burgers because he grilled it for us. I'm like, we got to be nice. And I took a bite. I was like, this is not a burger. This does not taste like a burger. I don't know. I know everyone's telling you that it tastes like it does not.
Yeah.
Beyond Burger is like it's Soylent Green. It's not even real food. I don't know why everybody's going off about these products that aren't even real food. Eat some fucking broccoli.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're not going to eat a hamburger, if you're not going to eat meat, then why do you need your food in the shape of a burger?
See, so like the veggie burger that I used to have at Bonnie's, it was a garden burger. It was never like, oh, this is a substitute for beef.
Right.
It was like you knew what you were getting. And I tried it once because, you need to try everything, I guess. Someone told me that. And I was like, holy shit, this is pretty good. So I kept ordering it. And I ended up putting it in the veggie chili and stuff. And it was pretty solid.
Andrew says, my dad is a passionate fan of the Wheel of Time. Like, he read the series multiple times per year my entire life. I was so bummed for him when he was disappointed by the Wheel of Time series.
I don't know. People will make fun of like fanboys for any genre, right? For any franchise. But there is something that's kind of soul crushing sometimes. Like when in the new Star Wars stuff, when they treat the original Star Wars characters a certain way, when they just like randomly kill them off or change their characters completely, or when they take a property like Wheel of Time, which I remember when it was coming out, like waiting like a year to 2 years for every book. And there's something soul crushing about somebody taking that and just ruining it. And it's like, why did you even take it? Right. Like, why don't you just write something original instead of fuck up somebody else's property?
And I read my story with the Wheel of Time is I got recycled in Ranger School during Christmas Exodus. So I was chilling in 4th RTB for quite a while. I had my mini deployment to 4th RTB, and they let us out of prison once a week to go for like a few hours. And I go to the bookstore, and it's like, dude, I'm stuck. I'm stuck on Camp Darby, man. Like, I'm going crazy. And so when I go to the bookstore, I'm like, what's the biggest, thickest books I can find? And I'd buy a Wheel of Time book, since it'd keep me occupied for the week. And I read, I want to say up to like book 8, maybe. And I got kind of fed up with Robert.
Yeah, he really like lost focus in those latter books.
I felt like there was really like 2 plots. And one of them was about the boys going and having adventures and doing cool stuff. And then the other was about like the girls like learning about magic and crying a lot. But that said, like the first couple books are amazing. And throughout the entire series, there's enough material there that I don't understand how like screenwriters didn't have like good stuff to draw on. Like the thing is like, they're making a TV series. You're not going to make it frame for frame what's in a book.
I get that.
So you have the opportunity, though, to like cherry pick the best parts of the book
instead of rewriting everybody's story.
Like you can actually make the TV show better than the books in that case, because you can just pick the very best parts and make it a television show. So
adapting TV, like adapting an existing IP, should literally. It's like I'm not saying it's easy, but it's fucking easy. Like you have everything.
You have everything there for you.
So like what happened with Wheel of Time, it seems, I don't know it, so like I'm taking your word for it. It seems like they totally fucking destroyed it.
They did.
Same thing happened with Game of Thrones. Granted, Game of Thrones, the show passed the books where the books are at, but like you really saw what kind of writers and producers these guys were
when they had no
because
script.
It got fucking bad fast.
Oh yeah.
Like really bad.
Yeah. Isaac, you guys live in New York City. Have you ever watched a Marvel property set in New York City and go down like Hawkeye's filmed?
Oh man! So we were talking about this off camera yesterday. The Punisher. I guess it's the 2nd season where he's doing that demo scene that you were disgusted by, D. Yeah. So D knows about New York City construction. He was like, "This is all fucked up."
I think it's the first season, the first episode.
Yeah,
so
when he's
working on a demo site
with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, I mean, they got a whole bunch of like New York construction people. First off, there are no Spanish people, which it's mostly Spanish people, but there's gonna sprinkle in some whiteys in there too. It's not real. And like once I saw that, I'm like, and they just have this one guy hitting the slab. What are you kidding me? The foreman would be yelling at that guy. Like when Frank Castle's like, he keeps hitting the slab for like hours, days, even. It's like ridiculous. The foreman would be like, yo, fuck stick, I'm not paying you overtime. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Like in reality.
Yeah.
And I know it's a Marvel movie, blah, 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 whatever. But like that took me out of it instantly.
So that scene was in a building in Williamsburg down by the waterfront. And some of the scenes, either from The Punisher or maybe Daredevil or maybe both, actually, I think both. Like there's a little park down by Domino Park. Now it's Domino Park, where they threw up all these high rises the last few years. There's a little park down there they filmed some scenes in. There's some other parts where around that same area that were showed up in Daredevil and The Punisher.
I think they filmed some stuff by like Borough Hall in Brooklyn too, because I remember seeing like they had like trailers parked for a while.
Yeah,
I think it might have been Daredevil. Almost sure of it.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of their stuff when they're filming. A buddy of mine was like the SWAT captain on Jessica Jones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in a couple episodes as like the SWAT captain, like when she was dealing with her mom, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see Iron Fist?
I was unfortunately.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes.
I watched the only one of those I didn't finish was the Punisher, and that's because I just cannot stand
was horrible.
the overplayed PTSD shit. I fucking can't stand.
I mean, I just couldn't stand like the poor writing and plotting and every other aspect of it that was just horrendous.
Yeah. Well, I remember reading articles at the time that the people who were working on it hated it because, people in show business tend to be liberal. Punisher is not a liberal icon of any type. And they didn't know how to, because he's different than all the other heroes, right? He's a gun-toting, killing, and they did not know, they didn't want to write.
Yeah, and like somebody who's a little bit more mature would have been able to see like this isn't like a partisan issue. It's like a vigilante.
It's a comic book character. It's a comic book character.
Yeah, you don't have to get wrapped up in that kind of stuff.
Right on. I'm with you 100%. I mean, I remember Punisher honestly from like Spider-Man because he was always like kind of fighting Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That was his debut. Was it Spider-Man 129?
Something
I think.
like that.
I think so. Yeah. But that's where he debuted was in Spider-Man.
He was kind of like an anti-hero. You know what I mean? He wasn't like a full like just a hero like Spider-Man is. Or
he's always been
right. So there's a darkness
on the edge
there.
of, yeah.
Isaac is asking about the fancy, slick technology weapons that the Black Widows use. Is it possible? We don't even have grappling guns, and it's 2022. Like we were supposed to have grappling guns by now. No, I don't know what kind of weapon he's talking about.
Well, like her little shock bracelet, and then her shock batons and stuff like that. I think
Some of that stuff is probably pretty possible.
Yeah, it's just that when it comes down to it, the reality is that so much of that stuff only works in fiction simply because. If you don't have a super, in most cases, you're just going to shoot somebody. If you're getting so close to a villain that you're employing, like Taskmaster's sword or whatever.
That's why I always get a kick out of, let's see, the Expendables and like John Wick, because they have guns in like literally in their hands in some scenes, but they're doing judo and jujitsu. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like when you shoot someone. And even if you're like the gun ran out of bullets, you'd like hit them in the head with a gun or something. You're not gonna like roll them over your hip and throw like what? What are you doing?
No, let's not talk shit about John Wick. Okay,
Dude, John Wick's horrible.
Slow
man.
your roll. Oh, you're dead to me.
That's like a movie for children.
You're dead to me. Let's see here. The Fantasy Slate 10. I thought the first season Jessica Kilgrave was. Yeah, Kilgrave is a great villain. Like, I think that is one of the things that. Well, that's one of the things that like the Defenders themselves always had a problem with. Is they're sort of like hometown heroes. So, like, you have Jessica Jones, who's super strong. You have Luke Cage, who's indestructible. Like, how do you create villains for them that are not going to draw the Avengers or whomever else? So, yeah, Kilgrave was a great sort of foil to Jessica Jones.
I really liked Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones grew on me over time. I ended up really liking that one.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I did. I enjoyed Jessica Jones. I enjoyed Luke Cage. Iron Fist was just so bad.
It was just weird. Yeah, it didn't do it for me.
It was so bad. And unfortunately, the actor in it like got so much crap, but it's not his fault. It was a crap script.
Yeah.
Like, he did better in The Defenders, in that little short series.
In The Defenders, they weren't they like fighting ninjas or something like that? Who was it? Who was the villain in that? They were fighting like the Foot Clan or something.
The Hand.
The Hand, that's right.
The Foot Clan, isn't that Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles? Yeah. No, they were fighting the Hand.
That's right. Yeah, that was cool. And like, I guess if they're bringing Daredevil back, that's cool. And maybe they'll bring back some of those other superheroes and like integrate them into the MCU in a better way.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to see.
I mean, I'd love to see fucking what's his name as Frank Castle in like a
good movie.
He's a good
Barenthal.
Frank Castle.
He used to come to Bonnie's all the time.
He's a
Barenthal.
great Frank Castle. It's not
What's his name? Bernthal?
John Barenthal.
Yeah, it's not his fault that the script.
No,
was
he's
just
solid. He's a
horrible.
good actor.
Yeah. No, I agree. He was a good Frank Castle. He just didn't have a lot to work with.
I don't know. Also, I don't know how they could go from the phenomenal fight choreography in Daredevil to just shit choreography and tactics and everything else in Punisher.
Well, there was that one scene in The Punisher where he's in prison and he fights like a dozen dudes in the hallway. That was pretty good.
That was good.
But
like all the gunplay was just
pretty lame.
horrible. Like he wouldn't take cover. I'm like yelling at the screen, "Take cover, you idiot!" How many times you have to get shot before you
What's
realize?
Frank Castle? He's like a SOF guy. He's like
a Force Recon dude.
Yeah, so that's the thing is
So you'd
that's
think
been
he'd have
rewritten.
tactics.
In the comics, he was Force Recon, and then with the movie they made with Thomas Jane, I think he was a SEAL and then a DEA guy, right?
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, but yeah, he was a Force Recon guy
Are you guys gonna watch Matrix? It's coming
who
out, like,
was
next
totally
week.
totally bitten from Mac Bolan, but nobody cared.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. Frank Castle absolutely lifted from Mac Bolan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch what?
Matrix, the new Matrix movie.
Absolutely, man.
I'm gonna watch it too. I don't know how good it's gonna be. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I
Yeah.
hope it's good. I hope
I'm,
it's good.
I'm not optimistic, but I'll try to go in with an open mind.
Yeah, me too.
And I think it could be an interesting like epilogue, because honestly, the Matrix trilogy was a fucking train wreck. Like the first movie was cool, the second one like, what are we doing? The third one was like, oh my fucking God.
I'll argue that the first Matrix movie is a top 10 movie in ever.
It was
first one.
It was a solid. I
I would
good
argue
movie.
that. But the two and three were bad.
I don't know if it's a top 10, but I put it above a solid movie. Like, I love The Matrix. Here is an interesting tidbit about The Matrix that you guys may not know, unless I've told you before. Do you know who originally had the role of Neo?
I do.
Yeah? Do
Oh,
you know?
I think I saw this video on the YouTubes or something.
Yeah. So
The one of Will Smith.
Will Smith originally had it, and he turned it down to do Wild Wild West.
Oh, God, what a fucking bad job that is.
Yeah, he said, I believe he was saying that the original idea was, so he was going to be Neo, so he would be the black actor, and they were looking at Val Kilmer to be Morpheus.
Oh, wow. I actually like that.
And so he was like, yeah, he's like, in the long run, I would have fucked it all up, and it ended up working Lawrence Fishburne being Morpheus.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I really like. I love Will Smith. I think he's a phenomenal actor, but it's so I can't picture him as Neo.
Well, not now, yeah. But
I
if
mean-
he was Neo and Kilmer was, I mean, we
Keanu
know
Reeves
that.
is so iconic in
I know.
that though now. Like it's hard to imagine that.
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves was good in the role. Can't fault him for anything there.
Yeah. WWGW, I would appreciate reading or hearing some book recommendations from you guys. I know it might be tough since most of your guests are authors, but would you? What kind of books are you talking about? Tell us that, and then we'll give you some
that's an
recommendations.
important question.
Yeah, because if you're talking about fantasy or science fiction, we'll go all day long. If you're talking about, a modern, military intelligence, stuff like that, that's a whole different list, obviously.
Why don't you give a couple of each? Go, Jack.
So fantasy, I would recommend Chuck Rogers' books, Heroes Road. Probably most people haven't heard of those. I would recommend that. What else for fantasy? Okay, I would recommend, of course, Robert E. Howard, and all of his Conan work is amazing. That's like must-read material. You're not really an American if you haven't read that. Science fiction. Starship Troopers is a classic.
Yeah. And I love the movie. And here's one case where it doesn't hold true. Like, the movie is...
It's a totally different take.
It's a totally different take than the book, but they're both fantastic.
And for different reasons, in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Other like sci-fi, I used to read a lot of sci-fi when I was younger. There was a series, a book series that I haven't kept up with, but I believe Michael Williamson wrote a book called Freehold, and then there's a sequel called The Weapon, and then there are a couple sequels after that, but it takes place, it's basically a libertarian jerk-off fantasy that there's like this planet that humans have settled, and it's like the perfect libertarian utopia, and then Earth is run by the UN, and they're all doing this chicanery to come and invade the Freehold. But it is a good book, and it's about this girl from Earth, and she like comes indoctrinated into this society. And the sequel, the weapon was actually my favorite, and it's about this like he's like Freehold's like black ops dude, and they send him. It's about his career and all these like science. It's like science fiction special ops that he's doing, and then what happens is they send them to Earth as sleepers. They're a sleeper cell. So when Earth invades Freehold, they activate the sleeper cells, and these guys are just like wreaking havoc on Earth, like just destroying cities and stuff. That was a good one. I'm trying to think of some other like sci-fi. Unfortunately, I don't get to read as much fiction as I'd like to. I've been getting into like pulp fiction, like reading Robert Howard. I've been reading Emil Tipperman, his like seminal pulp series Operator 5.
I've never heard of that actually.
America's Ace Spy. It's
Nice.
about it was written in like the 1930s before we got into World War II, and these like creepy Central European goons invade America, and so the Americans are like the guerrilla fighters, and it's definitely pulp. I mean, his girlfriend literally gets tied to the train tracks in one
Nice.
issue. But it's like if you buy the books, it's like 2 volumes. Like it's 500,000 words over each issue, so it's like a long storyline that he played out over a few years. So I'm halfway through reading that, and then I've also been enjoying Lee Falk's Phantom novels.
Oh yeah,
He wrote a bunch of them, and I read a couple this last year that I were really fun.
Yeah. That's a great concept. Huh? I mean, for science fiction and fantasy, so for fantasy, I mean, like a lot of old fantasy that I used to love was like Myth Adventures by Robert Asprin. That whole series is kind of tongue-in-cheek. I used to love a lot of the Piers Anthony stuff. The Dragon Riders of Pern. For like more modern, I mean, like the Dritz Dwarden, series is great.
I'm reading the first Elminster book right now.
Are you? Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, a lot of those books were really good. In the Forgotten Realms, and then and then the
Dragonlance.
Dragonlance
I never
and
read
stuff
them,
like that.
but
Yeah.
super popular.
Yeah. For what other? I mean, fantasy for science fiction. I mean, I recommend like Old Man's War to almost everybody. I can't remember the author's name right now. It's not coming.
Halderman, something like that. I know the book you're talking
Yeah.
about.
And then he did another book called Red Shirts, which is really great because it's like a take on the Red Shirts in Star Trek. And then the Neuromancer stuff. Neuromancer.
It's John Scully's.
Yeah, John Scalise. Thanks.
I haven't read that stuff since I was a kid.
Ready Player One was great. It's very different than the movie. Both are great. I mean, it's not very different, but they obviously like changed some things in the movie to make it watchable because there's a lot of stuff in the book
I love the movie.
that's not. It's great in a book, but it would be so boring to watch on the big screen. A great series was the Stainless Steel Rat, an old like science fiction series, and then and then I like a lot of like there's a new genre called lit RPG, which is basically it's sort of like Sword Art Online, where people are like virtual reality has gotten to the point where it's sensate now, like people can feel things and touch things, and so it's about people in MMORPGs, so they're almost like fantasy stories, but they have that gratification of like leveling up and stuff like that. And then for intel and
For
military books,
fiction, I have a thing for obscure Vietnam memoirs and novels also, and this is a great one. This guy Lloyd Little, he served as a special forces medic in Vietnam, and he wrote this novel. I'm told based on his experiences that what's in here is actually pretty much a true story.
yeah.
This is one of the best novels that come out of the Vietnam War. The other is behind you, Ken Miller's novel. We've had Ken. It's one of the paperbacks there.
Oh, down here?
Yeah.
Oh, Tiger the Lerp Dog.
Tiger the Lerp
Yeah.
Dog, which is it's another one of the best Vietnam novels. So Parthian Shot and Tiger the Lerp Dog are two fiction novels I would highly recommend.
And then let's see here. Judo is the best martial art.
Is that true, D?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a karate guy, but yeah, judo's good.
All right, Joe.
Take a shot with every headshot.
Nah, Joe.
Oh,
is
in
jujitsu.
John Wick. Yeah. Andrew's like, just watch Neo wind up as a chick by the end of New Matrix.
I didn't know that both of the brothers are now women.
Yeah.
I thought it was just one.
Whoa,
No,
what?
it's both of them now.
Yeah.
Both of them, yeah.
I thought it was just one initially.
What's this noise?
Both Wachowski brothers
Are trains.
are now like the Wachowski sisters.
No shit.
Yeah. I didn't know that until like recently.
I didn't know that until you just said something.
See that? I learned something new every
So
day.
who directed this new movie?
Lana. Just one of them. Lana is her name.
Just one of them?
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Or like when Matt Damon turned down 10% of the gross of Avatar. I didn't know that.
Oh, for like Sam Worthington's part? Probably. Like the white guy. Sam Worthington's good. He went and he like disappeared. He was in huge movies. And he just poof, like a puff of smoke.
Oh, another one. Actually, Andrew's post about some of the books he recommended just reminded me. Ender's War or Ender's Game.
Ender's Game?
Ender's Game.
They made a movie of that? I
They
feel like I've
did,
seen
yeah.
it.
Yes,
I don't remember if it was good
I
or
saw
not.
the movie. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
but the book was really good.
The book is a classic. I mean, I read it when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, very good.
Yeah, Ender's Game is really good.
Do you guys like which biographies do you guys like? Do you guys like any biographies?
I mean, you know me. I read military biographies. You know, most of my reading is work related.
David?
I'm trying to think. I've never really
Besides
been-
Jack's, obviously.
I've really never been. Yeah, aside from Jack's, but I've never really been that into like biographies. Yeah.
I read the Steve Jobs one. He was a bad guy. Not a nice guy at all. He was just
He was a
jerk.
tyrant.
Oh my god, yeah. That's the way they based it off. They based that movie Steve Jobs off of it. He was a dick. Huge dick. And like was not technically really that savvy. And he was just fucked up to his daughter. It was crazy. Yeah, he's just not a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made a nice phone, I guess, but not a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, I mean, I don't want to go off on like a huge tangent. We should probably be wrapping this up. But like the way people like worship or vilify billionaires is always interesting. And you know, there's that like bro culture that like idolizes them and wants to be like them. But it's like all these people are like human. Like Elon Musk. Like I don't think he's a bad guy. He's actually an innovator in some key ways, right? But like, I also don't think he's a second coming of Christ.
Right.
You know,
Right.
He's a human being.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's fucked up and does stupid things just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, I think if any of us were,
and he's weird, but being weird is not like, I can handle weirdness. He's not at the Epstein Island, so I'm okay with the weirdness.
Right.
Like, okay, dude.
Right.
You can be weird if you want. That's okay with me.
Jack, do you have a comment review on Ty Sigil's book, Robert E. Lee and Me?
No, I don't. No, I haven't heard of it. I'm sorry.
Well,
This is fun.
yeah.
Yeah, we always start these things like, what are we going to talk about? And then like an hour and a half later, like
We
we're
can keep going.
we're talking about Elon Musk. Probably a good sign. We should wrap it up. So, yeah, guys.
I haven't seen the new Dune. Not yet. And Dune is a good book.
Oh, I saw Dune. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should definitely go check it out. It was a great movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So, yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year's.
Happy Hanukkah for.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Festivus. we will see all of you next year. And I guess we'll sign off by just pointing out we've been in here recording all day. We've recorded our Christmas episode and our New Year's episode so that we can all take a little bit of time off and go hang out with our families and chill. So we will see you guys in 2022.
And there will be clips all throughout the break stuff too. So
Yeah, D will be dropping some clips on the YouTubes.
get your dicks out. Sorry.
All right, guys. So we'll see you next year. Everyone, take care of yourselves.